Hi everybody, Andrew Cuneo here. Another day, another new standard deck. I did check the comments from my last video, and it seemed like people mostly were interested in constructed content. Some people said they were interested in seeing some explorer content, which I'll probably get to in a few weeks. There's a Pioneer Pro Tour coming up in about a week and a half, and Pioneer has gotten pretty similar to Explorer, I believe. I'm not qualified for the Pro Tour, so I won't be playing in it, but I'll look and see what decks did well at that, and then maybe make some videos trying to adapt the Pioneer decks to Explorer decks, or maybe I'll get inspired to make some new deck based on what I see, but I'm going to wait until after the Pro Tour to do Explorer stuff. So today, another new standard deck, and I have been drafting. This deck is an attempt to take advantage of something that I learned from playing the limited format, which is this card, Filigree Sylex, which I thought was just a Ratchet Bomb variant. Actually, the remove 10 oil counters clause on it, you can remove 10 oil counters from any permanents, not just the Ratchet Bomb. So I'm trying to make an aggressive red deck that really utilizes the oil synergies, because there are these two cards, Vindictive Flamestoker and Sawblade Scamp, which are... The Scamp is not the best card in the world, for sure. This Flamestoker actually looks like it's about a constructed rate card, just on its own. They both get oil counters whenever you cast non-creature spells. So you're going to charge up a lot of oil counters on those, that's pretty great. Then there's also this Exuberant Fuseling, which gets oil counters when stuff goes to the graveyard, so slightly different. But it is also a card that's going to tend to build up oil counters over the game. Then also we've got Kami's Flare, which is a pretty good removal spell that hasn't seen much play because getting this modified clause, there just weren't very good cards to get modified with. It turned out when this card was printed, I thought it would be good because I thought that like I guess their equipment, like Rabbit Battery, those style cards would be good enough to see play, but it turned out those cards were just terrible. So Kami's Flare, if you have Sawblade Scamp or Vindictive Flamestoker in play, you're just going to get the oil counter by casting it. So the modified clause is just going to be on most of the time. Another card that takes advantage of the oil counters is this Urabrask Forge. Now this you can't really get oil counters onto, with the exception of this Churning Reservoir card, which I am playing 2 copies of. So this card might not be that good. I haven't played any games with this deck yet. We're going to see the initial games in just a second. I don't know how good this card's going to be. I don't know how good this card's going to be. I don't know how good this deck's going to be. Some other inclusions I've got Swift Spears, and then to try to get my non-creature spell count up to power up the Swift Spears, Scamps, and Flamestokers, I am playing 4 Ancestral Angers. Which, that's just... I've got 16 one-drop creatures. I'm going to have a lot of targets if things are going okay. And then I have the 4 Mishra's Research Desks. Now, you have to decide between Research Desk and Experimental Synthesizer. And I went with the Research Desk because when you sack it, you're going to be triggering the Fuseling. It's cheaper to sack. And I think you get 2 triggers... Oh no, you don't get the trigger when you unearth and sack it because it's not going to see the graveyard. But I think the Research Desk is better than the Synthesizer in this deck. Maybe I'm wrong. The other thing that's nice about playing the Research Desk is you can play Mycosynth Gardens as just a colorless land to get a little bit of value, and you can convert your gardens into Research Desks. Now, the way the gardens work, it doesn't cause... It just changes the permanent. The permanent doesn't come into play again. So it wouldn't work very well with the Synthesizer because you would just have a tapped Synthesizer sitting in play that wouldn't actually trigger. With the Research Desk, you're going to have a tapped Research Desk, but then you can sack the Research Desk the next turn. It's not going to go to your graveyard as a Research Desk, so you're only kind of getting half of a Research Desk. But you can also turn this card into a Dragon Engine, into a Forge, into a Churning Reservoir. Turning it into a Filigree Sylex seems pretty terrible because this is legendary. I don't know that there'd be any reason you'd ever really want to do that. I mean, I guess if your Filigree Sylex was getting destroyed and you just wanted to have a different, like have one in response, you could do that. Maybe that would come up. Looking at the sideboard, sideboard's going to be pretty random because, like I said, I haven't played this deck at all. I've got 2 copies of Gleeful Demolition, which this is really in my deck more to use it against my opponent's stuff. I don't really foresee using it against my stuff. 2 more Urabrask's Forages, in case it turns out that card's really good and I want to be able to burn it up to 4. I've got 4 Urabrask's Anointers, which I think this is probably going to be a good card against mid-range creature decks. Like, I think that I'll be able to power it up to the point that it's doing, you know, it's going to do 3 or 4 damage when it comes into play to my opponent's creatures. Play with fire just for another cheap removal spell. Same thing with Obliterating Bolt. I have 1 Bloody Betrayal in my sideboard. This is just a card to try to get lucky with if somebody puts a Phyrexian Obliterator into play, or a, whatever the white one's called. One thing that has held me back from really trying mono red decks is if those, either the Obliterator or the, is it a Justiciar maybe? Both of those cards are pretty hard to beat with mono red. So I wanted 1 card that would, you know, I could maybe steal the game. I can destroy them with my Filigree Sylexes. Like, I mostly have the Sylex in my deck as a way to deal 10 damage, but I am going to just, you know, be putting oil counters on it every turn to try to build up to the 10 damage, and maybe I'll take out all the 4-drops in play, and that'll be good at some point. 2 Seismic Waves. I'm trying this as my answer to Soldiers decks. And 2 Rebel Salvos. This is a card that I was pretty excited about because it is a way for a mono red deck to kill Sheoldred, which is very important to have. I didn't wind up putting any equipment in my deck, so it really isn't that good. But I think you could build your mono red deck in a different way, and you would make it better against better against Sheoldred, or make this Rebel Salvo card like a main deckable card. It would require that you would have to play like Lizard, whatever the double strike card is, Lizard something. Also, I just realized that I'm going to make 1 change to my deck because there's a card I forgot existed. Lizard Blades. I think if you were putting Lizard Blades in your deck, it would make Rebel Salvo pretty nice. I think instead of playing Swift Spears, I'm going to play Kumano Fights Kakkazan. I think it's just a better card. And it also, this triggers my Scamp and my Flamestoker, which is pretty nice. Do I want to play any Planeswalkers on my sideboard? What does this Jaya do? It doesn't seem that good. I mean, it seems okay. I think that in reality, I probably would want to have some Jayas, maybe some Chandras, maybe like 1 Koth in my sideboard. But I think that would come at the expense of the Forges and the Anointers, and I'm just going to play matches with Forge and Anointer so I can draw them more often and see how good they are. I think I have a better idea of how good the Planeswalkers are going to be than I do of these oil cards. I'm going to try going really hard on the oil theme to start. So let's get into some games. 4 lands is a lot, but this is a pretty good curve. So I am going to keep it. If I draw more than 1 or 2 lands over the course of the game, I'm probably going to struggle. Do I want to lead on the Scamp? I think I do. This dies, they get a treasure. That's why I didn't want to just Kalmi's Flare it right away. I don't need to ramp my opponent. It's Professional Facebreaker. Oh, they're a treasure theme deck. I like treasure theme decks. Let's grease this thing up a little. I think I don't want to just remove counters from my Scamp if I'm trying to get to the Filigree Sylex. This is kind of this is going to make for a bit of a tension in how I'm going to try to play with this deck. I could conceivably just Sylex for 2. I'm kind of even getting... I'm going to get refunded an oil counter anyway. I'm definitely going to Sylex for 2. I don't think my opponent knows what the Filigree Sylex does, because they've committed quite a lot to the board into a Sylex that can go off for 2. But I'm going to get 1 counter back from the Sylex going to the graveyard onto the Fuseling. So I'm getting refunded. I guess it's a refund of 1, because this would, instead of tapping, this is going to tap. If that makes any sense. Probably what I just said isn't coherent, but it makes sense to me, and that's what I really care about. There's not a crazy way that they're like going to die on my turn, is there? I guess I should start out by seeing what I draw off this, and then maybe... I think I'm going to come up very short on the math front, but maybe not. Oh, right, I didn't miss a damage. But, so I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, 8. You can't sack this to trigger the Fuseling and also, like, get the 10th countered for the -10. I guess you have to tap it anyway. So I think I'm going to want to minus the Scamp once. So they were about to go to 11, and then I would put them to 10, and then I could finish them off with the Sylex. So what their deck was like a treasure theme deck. So Kami Flare is probably pretty good on the removal front. Might want a little bit more removal, like Obliterating Bolt. Maybe cut a Forge. Oh, I guess I want to try the Anointers in this matchup too. So let's cut the Forges. What else could I cut? Maybe the Angers? It's real weird to have like only 1 Anger in my deck after sideboard. Maybe I'll just play with Fire as well. Oh, this thing's an artifact. I can copy this thing with the Mycosynth Gardens. That's pretty nice. It remains to be seen how good this deck actually is, but it does seem like it's probably pretty easy on the wild cards for people who are trying to find a good budget deck. Because even, like, the mana base is, it's not literally entirely basics. But you don't need the rare lands that I put in my deck. They're just kind of nice to have, and I really hope I find a creature off this research desk next turn, because I'm sequencing my whole game plan around it. This Kumano faces Kakkazan is also a really nice way to turn on the Kami's Flare. Would have been so good if I'd just drawn a 1-drop creature that turn. I think I need to dig for a 1-drop creature rather than just Kami's Flaring Facebreaker. Well, it doesn't matter. I whiffed. Now I'm sad. I'm gonna kill that thing now. This Anointer's not looking so hot. Where'd all my oil stuff go? I guess I did board out the forges, but I didn't board out any other oil stuff. I didn't draw any of my 12 oil 1-drops. So I want the Fuseling. Could have taken a different card and just waited for next turn. This Planeswalker I'm anticipating is going to be kind of hard to beat. I can minus it and just wrath my board. I guess they lose their Luca and their Thron if they do that. They're probably not going to do that. Nope. Opponent thought differently. Oh, you don't sack the Thron. Never mind. That was just a good play by the opponent. That was a very good play. Makes me pretty sad that I'm left with nothing. You could have left me with a little something, opponent. I don't even have an oil counter on the Scamp. Alright, that went really badly. But it was basically all decided on turn 3 when I research desked and I didn't find a creature. I think I actually would have been in super good shape if I have research desked and, or if I hadn't researched desked, but I just top decked like a Fuseling. It would have been really easy to win. Do I want something that can kill that Thrun? I mean, this thing does make it lose indestructible. I'll play like a card that can kill Thrun. Maybe over Obliterating Bolt. Oh, an Ancestral Anger off the top. Or actually, come on, Mishra's research desk. Sawblade Scamp, not ideal. Mishra's research desk would be ideal. Maybe I should play some synthesizers in addition to the research desks. Get more of that stuff. This is Planeswalkers. This is any target? Wow, I didn't realize you could just go face with this. That's pretty nice. My plan is to block with the Anointer, if I'm given the opportunity. Should probably have Strangle on my sideboard. I kind of forgot that card existed. Maybe over the random play with fire. Probably over some of the Seismic Waves, too. Having a 1-mana thing that kills Sky Strike Officer is probably a lot better than...
Pyrex's swarm will triumph! I am the Alpha!
Okay. My Anointer flooded. Can I deal damage to Planeswalkers with this? No, it's just each opponent. I think I'm going to change my deck after this match. I think this Anointer is probably good enough to play in the main deck if you can deal damage to people's face. Yikes. I don't think I'm winning this one. These are 2/2 trample hastes. Alright, let's make a few revisions. I'm going to play 2 Anointers in my main deck. I think I'm going to cut these Dragon Engines. I want to try 1 Forge in my main deck still for sure. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to play some Strangles. And I want to play like 2 of these. So what else could I cut? Is this Churning Reservoir card actually going to be good? This card actually seems kind of bad. I'm going to play 1 copy. So I'll play this 1 copy until I draw it, and then it almost definitely will get cut for a synthesizer. I might have too many lands in my deck. I could just be greedy and cut a land for another synthesizer. Let's do it. Let's be greedy. Do you think that this is the synthesizer I just cut, or I just added for a land? Because if it is, I'm regretting my decision. Never mind, I regret nothing. I think I'm going to play Churning Reservoir and Research Desk this turn. This thing can make goblins, which that kind of hurt. Gonna end turn, crack the research desk, I think. I'm letting them hit me with this goblin, which is annoying, but I thought I wasn't getting enough of an advantage if I just Kame's flared it. I wanted to at least play the synthesizer, and then I was hoping I would top deck a land, so I could just go synthesizer, get a land, kill the goblin. Found the lands. Should I just kill both? I think I'm just gonna kill both. It's very sad I'm not getting any damage from this though. Maybe I should have just Silexed them both. Maybe that was the way to play. This deck really doesn't do much if I don't get one of my creatures to stick in play. I think I just drew a pretty below average number of creatures this game, but I certainly spun my wheels a lot and didn't do anything. I think this is the kind of deck I'm playing against that the forges are going to be good in the sideboard. I also probably really blew it in turn before when I just didn't just play this Sylex to kill both the tokens. Man, so many Fable to Mirror Breakers. It's such an unfair card. Blood Tithe Harvester. Okay. Do I have any hope of winning this game? Might have a little hope. I guess it's going to depend on if I can kill the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. You have to Sylex for 3 to get rid of the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki is my understanding of the rules. Why couldn't I put this non-token artifact or creature you control? So you can't put it on tokens? Lame. I think they would just kill the Flamestoker if I put it in play. So instead, do this. I guess I can charge my Filigree Sylex up to 2. And get out of this Blood Tithe Harvester hell that I'm in. So, I don't want to give you control of this, so I'm going to put a oil counter on it, so you can have it. I also didn't want to sack it for 0. Invoke the Winds. They have Invoke the Winds and Invoke Despair in their deck. I like it. I guess you can do that now with all the blue-black lands. It doesn't seem like a good idea, but I guess it's a legal thing to do. Are they going to Sylex away my Churning Reservoir? That'd be rude. This is instant speed. Let's move on. I'm learning how my deck works. I want to try Forges in this matchup. Maybe over the Angers. Their deck could certainly have Sheoldred in it, so maybe I'll try these Rebel Salvos. Alright, we're going to have a turn 3 Forge on the play. I don't know if their opponent's deck is going to be very good at beating it. They can steal it with Invoke the Winds. Come on, Blood Tithe Harvester. Play a Blood Tithe Harvester. They didn't play a Blood Tithe Harvester. I think I'm just going to pass. I don't want to get this hit by Make Disappear. And I do want to be able to Kami's Flare a potential Fable of the Mirror Goblin token. Huh. It's pretty suspicious they're getting priority here. It's almost as if they have Make Disappear. Alright. I'll run that Forge into a Make Disappear. Use it or lose it. Very hard to keep a creature in play against this opponent. Should probably have an unlicensed Terse on my sideboard. Not that I would board it in against people just because I had the Corpse Appraiser. But it is the kind of card that's probably just a good sideboard card. I'm going to hold the Rebel Salvo in case they have Sheoldred. Forge is almost ready to start pounding through these corpse appraisers. Rude. I'm gonna call rude on that one. Another one. They just keep coming. I think I'm gonna run out of gas. I don't think I'm gonna die this turn. Well, I'll probably die if they have Invoke Despair. I don't think I'm gonna be able to kill him on the next turn, and then I'll probably be dead. Four. Can kill something, but I still die. Oh wait, is this 3? The channel? It's 4. I'm gonna try one more match of this because even though I haven't won a match yet, it hasn't felt that bad to me. Or, well, it hasn't felt hopeless. It's kind of felt like maybe I don't have quite the right mix of stuff. But it's felt like if my draws were slightly different, I would have been doing pretty well in a lot of the games. What's this card? All right. So this is not a card you should ever put in your constructed deck. Charging up. I think I want to get this thing going rather than try to play a bunch of spells. Especially because the synthesizer, the longer you can wait, the better it gets. I think given my opponent's start, there's probably no wrong way to try to sequence my cards. Okay. We're showing some life. Charging up. Really charging up now. Should I attack? I think I'm going to attack with the Scamp. Deal a point of damage and I get that thing out of the way as a blocker. I don't think I'm gonna need the oil counter. I guess I would have been able to 10 them next turn. Never mind, I wouldn't have been able to 10 them. There will be no 10ing of anyone going on. I'm going to destroy the hive, even though the hive is dealing damage to them. It's also somewhat close to them getting lifelink off of it. And once they start gaining life off the hive, I think the game would probably be over for me. This is quite a motley assortment of creatures I've assembled. Okay. I think I'm going to anger the Flamestoker that doesn't have any oil counters on it. With the intention of attacking and probably trading it with the Loran. That was a lot of lands to have just found. Even more lands. Fuseling's going to get to trample over for a good chunk of damage at some point. I can't believe how... Did they destroy 2 of my Filigree Sylexes? No, only 1. I still have 2 left in my deck. Guess I care more about infect than them having blockers. Oh. I guess I'm just an idiot.
Feel the energy of battle. Then guide it with water.
Although, if they just left their mana up and they got some minus on this Fuseling, I'm probably equally doomed. Come on. Is that 6 irons in a row? That's not how I was hoping to do it. Should I kill the Wandering Emperor? I could put them to 4, they go up to 6. I think that this is more damage over the course of 2 turns. Because in addition to them not gaining the 2 life, they also have this giant Fuseling that's going to hit them again, potentially. Or not. We have another Wandering Emperor. No. I can turn this into... Oh, it's non-token. I can't turn it into... Cool. So I can put them to 5, and then this would have to block. I die if they have any removal, if I don't leave two blockers back. I think I need to just maximize my chances of killing them next turn. I could also find a Sylex, which would potentially buy me time. Would I have already killed them if I had the Exuberant whatever just go face? Maybe. They would have definitely played differently too, though. So much life gain. Alright, we're really going to need to find a Sylex. So, what do I do? 8 damage if I find an Ancestral Anger? It doesn't matter, I've already found all my Ancestral Angers, I think. Come on, Sylex. So now I'm starting with this. Do I want to have the Fuseling in play is the question. So I crack that. Play it again. Crack it again. Sylex with a land. No. Oh, wait. Okay. Shouldn't be that hard. So I need 1. So I'm going to need 3, 5 mana to do everything I want. I think I need to do this without playing the Fuseling. Yeah, because I need 2 mana when this last one goes off in case I find a Sylex. I ain't got no luck with this deck. All I've got is lands. So this is not good against all the mites. It's maybe an argument for having a different card in its place. I think these Urabrask Anointers are going to be good. Probably better than the Forge. I think I might just try it like that. I don't have any sweeper that sweeps all the mites. If I had End the Festivities, it would be pretty good. This is, I think, keepable. Obviously, don't play the Synthesizer on turn 1. I think I'm going to pass and see if I have a target to Kami's Flare. They didn't seem to have many things that were actual 2-drops. Okay, that is a 2-drop. It is not a legal target. Ability to just find a creature when I want one has not been very good. Are they going to blow up my Synthesizer? Come on, instant. It's not an instant. I did have the option there of leaving the Loran in play just to guarantee myself a target for the Ancestral Angers. I chose not to do that because I wanted to spend my mana. I think now I'm going to save this Anger for damage. And I think I'm going to save the Synthesizer for a turn when I'm going to have more things I can play. I feel like I'm drawing a lot of lands, but maybe just the way my deck is constructed, I'm going to tend to flood because I have so many 1-mana cantrips. At least I'm at 23 life because of Lay Down Arms. Make some real progress. So I've drawn 9 lands in my top 18 cards. Yeah, I'm like more than 1 land above expectation right now. Which even if I'd drawn 8 lands at this point, I probably still wouldn't be winning. Well, that's not going to help me. I think we can concede through this one. Well, that was kind of disappointing. I thought that deck was going to do better than it did. I felt like I drew kind of bad, but I didn't really come close to winning any matches, and some of my opponents didn't even appear to have particularly strong decks. What if I was red-green? Would I get access to better oil stuff? Oh, there's also that land that gives the oil counters. That might have been better than Mycosynth Gardens. Because you just get 2 oil counters, which makes the Sylex easier. What are the green ones? Evolving Adaptive. That's certainly a good card. Armored Scrap Gorger is also a good card. This Spinoderm thing is maybe okay. The Char Forger. This thing is good. Miglaws. Maybe Cinder Slash Ravager would actually be okay. So what if I was playing red-green? It's evolving adaptive and Miglaws. And maybe Scrap Gorger. The thing about Scrap Gorger is it wants you to play more expensive cards. And I think to do this oil thing, you want to have lots of cheap cards. Are there good proliferate cards? Cankerbloom is okay. I guess Blooded Contaminator is okay too. I like Blooded Contaminator, but not so much in a deck where you're not trying to do toxic stuff. Or not putting +1/+1 counters on your creatures to proliferate. Just proliferating oil counters. I don't think you're getting a good enough rate there. Alright, so that idea is not going to work. Yeah, I don't know. Leave a comment if you have an idea for how to approach this. I think maybe red-green would be better, but I think if you're going to go red-green, you're going to have a hard time playing enough instants and sorceries to make the Sawblade Scamp and the Flamestoker good. But you do get the Evolving Adaptive, so you would just be playing more creatures. Maybe that's a better approach. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again in the next video.